Donald Narcisse was born in February of 1965 in Port Arthur. Children born to Dorothy and Paul Narcisse. Port Arthur is a city filled with warm, friendly people and embodies the American dream of success through hard work, exuberant living, and a devotion to family and community. In fact, the credo of the Narcisse family, passed on by Don's parents, was that hard work pays off. And this credo pushed Don to greater heights, as all Rough Rider fans know. Don attended Booker T. Washington Elementary School, where he played the trumpet. While at Woodrow Wilson School, Don's aspirations switched from playing trumpet to playing football. Dorothy Narcisse was initially apprehensive about Don playing football because he suffered from the respiratory problems caused by his asthma. Don quickly turned around Dorothy's concerns. Don went on to high school at Port Arthur Lincoln High, excelling academically and athletically. He was a member of the National Honor Society and the football team, achieving status as an all-district receiver and the most valuable player. From high school, he attended Texas Southern University on a football scholarship, receiving many accolades. In his senior season, Don caught 88 passes for 1,074 yards, winning the NCAA Division I AA receiving crown. He was named first NCAA Division I All-American and was named to the All-Southwest Conference team. He was named Sheridan All-Black All-American and played in the Freedom Bowl in Washington, D.C. under legendary coach Eddie Robinson. Don Narcisse joined the Rough Riders on September the 1st, 1987, following a free agent tryout with the NFL's St. Louis Cardinals. During his 13-year, 216-game career with the Riders, here are but some of his accomplishments. His 75 touchdowns are number 3 all-time as a Rough Rider and number 2 for pass receiving touchdowns. He is the all-time Rider reception leader with 919 catches. He is number 2 in receiving yardage with 12,366. He is the Riders' all-time single-season leader with 123 catches in one season. He is the all-time Rider leader with 15 catches in one game. He was the Rider nominee as the most outstanding player in 1995. Don was the Riders' top receiver in 1989, 95, and 1998. He is the only 3-time winner of the Molson Cup for most popular player as voted on by the fans. He had 8 1,000-yard seasons and 34 100-yard games. He even had 24 regular season tackles and was 2 for 2 in passing with 1 touchdown pass. And he played in 2 Grey Cups in 1989 and 97, being proudly part of the 89 Grey Cup championship team. He also had a great impact at the league level. He led the CFL in receptions in 1995 with 123. He led the Western Conference in receptions twice. He holds the pro football record with at least 1 catch in every one of his 216 games. He became the first CFL player to reach 900 regular season catches. He became the CFL's all-time leading receiver in 1998. He holds the CFL record for 11 seasons with pass receptions in all games. And he was a 5-time Division All-Star and 4-time CFL All-Star. Following his retirement from the CFL in 2000, Don returned to his native Texas. He currently resides in Pearland, Texas, where he is employed as a mortgage broker with a company owned by former Stampeder Brian Wigan. Don and his wife, Cassandra, are proud parents to 3 children, Donald Jr., Chelsea, and Serena.
A couple of things about Donnie that I remember really well is his work ethic. The guy never stopped running the entire time through practice, and the way that his work ethic really rubbed off on everybody else is what made us a better team.
Truly, in all honesty, I thought Don Narcisse was a fabulous football player. He truly was. He didn't get the exposure sometimes or the notoriety that he probably deserved, but he was a very professional player. He was a very smart player. He was a very dependable player. He was a very durable player. I don't think he hardly missed any games. He had a great set of hands. He always ran the right routes. I mean, he was just really a pleasure to play with on one side of the ball. And, as a slot back, that's real important. I mean, we had a lot of good receivers in the time that I was in Saskatchewan. And when Don got there and solidified that one spot, it just kind of changed everything for everybody. He really, in my opinion, was a lot like I was. He went about his business. He, you know, when it was time to play, he was a player. And, you know, as far as a personal relationship goes, to me, that was issue number one. There's lots of good guys and character guys and people that you like to hang around with that are not as professional. And so when you're teammates, I think that's number one issue. So I hold him in very high regard.
Really the core guys were obviously Jeff and Ray and Narco on the outside. We kind of went through several wide receivers on the other side. But as a young quarterback that really didn't know much about the game, that had to go out there and call his own plays right from the beginning, it made my job a lot easier to have players around me that had experience.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Don Narcisse and his great career is his durability. Never one of the biggest receivers to play in the Canadian Football League, but he certainly was one of the toughest and one of the most consistent over time. 8 times in his illustrious career, he had over 1,000 yards receiving, 7 of those in a row. And maybe what's most impressive about his career was he played in 216 games, all with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and in every one of those games, he had at least 1 catch.
And looking, oh, and what a catch by Donald Narcisse. Oh, boy, he's the man. And he has 830. One shy of having it all by himself. And there it is. No one in the history of the Canadian Football League has caught more passes than number 80 of the green and white, Donald Narcisse.
I think he was the best ever in the CFL, was catching the ball on the sidelines. There were times where you'd swear he was out of bounds, and you'd go back and look at the film, and he'd have 1 toe inbounds. He had an uncanny knack of knowing where the sidelines, plus 40-inch arms helped too. I think in all the years that I dealt with Don, I only remember he and I yelling at each other one time, and that lasted about 30 seconds. Then he came back in the office and sat down. We did the contract. So not only was it important to have Don playing football on the field for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but it was equally as important, Don Narcisse off the field. He brought a lot of fans to Taylor Field. Some of them to see that goofy dance, but he brought a lot of people there.
He was so consistent and such a stabilizing factor out there. I mean, you gotta really scratch your head. I don't think I can ever remember him missing a game. It was an incredible number of games he played, and the hits he took, and he was always out there, a stabilizing factor, and a real role player for this team, a key role player.
He epitomized the definition of a professional football player. It didn't matter if the team was winning, losing, whatever. He gave his all, game in and game out, and you can't ask for any more from any player in this league or any league. When you're losing, it is tough to put out the way he put out, but he was always there when they needed him.
My best memories in playing for Saskatchewan Roughriders. Gotta say, I enjoy just playing for the fans. It's like I always owed them. I always owed them something.